Flosstube, Olivia here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Thursday, December 12th, and it is about 11 o'clock here in my neck of the woods. It has been 2 weeks since my last update, and so I hope that you've all been well and that you've been having fun stitching all of the things. If you are new to my channel, this is a vlog about cross stitch and sometimes quilting. So if you are new, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So glad you're here today. So in my last video, I recorded it out in my dungeon. It was very cold. I've spent a lot of time out there in the last 2 weeks, and it has been very, very cold. I've definitely noticed it much more this year than I have in the past. But I am almost done quilting for clients. I just have one more to go, and I will be done. And then any quilts that come in from now until the end of the year will wait until January so that I can get some of my things done. So I thought today I would do my video. It's a day earlier than I normally do, but tomorrow is booked as a day can be. In the morning, we have some errands we have to do, and then in the afternoon, on purpose, I have to drive my daughter's roommate to Portland to the airport on Friday during rush hour. So the sentence enhancers will be out in full force because it is a nightmare driving from here to Portland and back again during rush hour, most especially on a Friday. So that's going to be super fun, and I can't wait. So excited. Anyway, so the last 2 weeks, of course, have been really busy. A lot of people have been talking about how, busy it has been for them as well. I wish it wasn't so busy this time of the year because there are so many things that I wanted to get done that just didn't happen. And once again, they're going to get pushed off for another year. The one thing that you're going to notice right away is there is no Glitter Village right there. I tried to find a frame, but no matter what frame I found, because I had to shop online, I just could not find a frame that I liked well enough or that I thought would work out for Glitter Village, because I'm looking for a very specific style and color, and I could find things that were maybe the color but not the style, or I could find the style and maybe not the color. So I figured because I spent so much time working on Glitter Village, I just didn't want to slap it into a frame just to put it on my wall and then hate it for the rest of the time. So I don't know that Glitter Village will be up this year. It might be that it's something that I will work on or I will find next year and then fully finish. I am a little bit sad because it would have looked so amazing with the quilts here. Glitter Village would have been right here, and then my vintage tree. But it's better to just kind of hold off and wait until you find the right one instead of just finding something just to throw it up on the wall and then spend more money later when you find the right one that you like. So hopefully next year it'll be hanging right there and it'll be fabulous. Over the past 2 weeks, I did have a shout out. I had 2 shout outs. One of them, I wrote down the name and I cannot find the slip of paper that I put her name on, and I'm really sorry because she was so sweet in her shout out to me and it was so appreciated, and I feel terrible that I cannot remember who it was. And if I do, I will make sure to mention it in my next video. But the other shout out was from Liz Matthews, and so she was very kind and she said some very wonderful things about me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, Liz. I also found out yesterday that she is Kathy Barrick's daughter, and that's just fabulous. I wish I was Kathy Barrick's daughter because Kathy Barrick is amazing. But it wasn't Liz's last video because I haven't watched that one yet, but it was in the one before that. She showed some Christmas trees that she had designed, and they were punch needle, and she was going to convert them from punch needle into cross stitch. And then last night I saw on Kathy Barrick's Instagram page that one of the trees had been cross stitched. And so I'm going to be all over that as soon as those release because I love Christmas trees, as you will be able to tell in the home tour. And so there's no way, I mean, even if the pattern's released today and I bought it and they arrived in the mail, there's no way I'd be able to get them done in time for Christmas. But next year for sure, I'm going to get the patterns, because in my mind, I can already see how I want them displayed. So I'm very excited about that. But thank you so much, Liz, for giving a shout out to my channel. I appreciate it. Also, I am filming this video on my new Google Pixel. My last video was done with my new phone. I had a lot of people ask, how did I like it? The picture was amazingly sharp. I mean, it showed everything, every line on my face, every, like highlight in my hair. I was just amazed at how very crystal clear it was. And I also noticed it again when I was taking pictures of the project bags I had uploaded to my shop. They were just really very, very crisp. So the picture quality is amazing. If you're thinking about getting one, picture quality is fantastic. It is taking me a little bit to get used to it, because I know how my iPhone used to take pictures and I liked how bright the pictures were. And in this one, I have to fiddle with the settings a little bit to get it to be brighter when I'm like posting to Instagram or posting to my Etsy page. Because I noticed in some of the pictures, even though it looked nice and bright, when I would go to upload it to Etsy, it was a little bit on the dark side. So that is something that I do need to fiddle with a little bit. But overall, I do like the Google Pixel. However, I miss Siri. I didn't realize how much I relied on Siri until she was gone. And this one does not have the same like capabilities as Siri. So like when I ask it, and I can't say it out loud because it'll pop up, but when I would say, like, hey, and then the name, it doesn't say anything. It just, there's like a little banner that comes up and it'll say, how can I help you today? Instead of saying like Siri did, what can I do? What can I help you with? And then you ask it a question and it will go to the internet and pull up an answer instead of just answering me. So yeah, and I used to use it to set timers and if I needed to be reminded of something and alarms and all that. And this one, I haven't figured out how to get it to work, and that's a little bit frustrating because, when I'm driving and you'd get a phone call, I used to be able to just tell Siri to answer the phone for me, and this one won't do it. So hopefully, as time goes on, maybe they will start adding more and more things to it, but for right now, that's probably the only thing I don't like. Everything else, it's not as complicated as I thought it was going to be. The things that I miss are mostly superficial. But other than this, it's got a fantastic battery life. Overall, I'm happy with it. So the other thing that I really, really liked was as soon as I took a picture, it was immediately backed up to my Google Drive, which was fantastic. The only thing that irritated me was that after I finished filming my last video, it took all the rest of the day and half of the night to upload to my Google Drive. And I was just very irritated. And then I realized that it had nothing to do with the phone and it had to do with our upload speed of our internet. And so that has been adjusted. And so it'll be interesting to see how quickly all of this backs up to everything to where I can go in and fiddle with it. So now let's talk about cross stitch 9 minutes in. So there's a sale coming up and I have been talking about it quite a bit over the last couple of months, and that is the Anniversaries of the Heart Stitch Along that I'm co-hosting with Deborah Canopied Stitches on Instagram. I've had a lot of people ask, where is Deborah? Deborah is just taking a little bit of a break from Instagram, and it is my dearest hope that she will return on January 1st to help me kick this off. I've also had some questions about, do I need all of the charts to start? No, you do not. The only reason why I have all of the charts was because when I decided to stitch this for myself, I did not want to stitch it unless I had all of the charts in my possession. There are 12 of them. And the reason was because these charts were not widely available. You had to do a little detective work to find some of them. but now they have been re-released and they are widely available everywhere. So you could easily start with the first one, which is Snow Garden. When they came out, it was a monthly release. So that's why there are 12 charts. And so you could just follow the monthly release, start with Snow Garden, and in February order Valentine Rose. So I will put the list of all 12 of the charts down below in the description box, and then that way you can just jot them down and go do a search of them, put them on your wish list. A lot of people are joining us, and I'm so excited. It's so much more fun when you have lots of participation. A lot of people are doing them all on one, and so that's great because that will help to keep me motivated to finish. My goal is to start it January 1st and to finish it before the end of the year. I will be personalizing mine with my family, and I'm stitching mine with some of the called for threads and some of the yet to be determined threads. I am also stitching mine on a piece of 35 count sand. It is, I think the piece that I need is 19.5 by 20.5, but I will make sure to put those dimensions down below. So if you're stitching it on 35 count, that's the size that you will need. I mean, it's a pretty good size piece. I got this piece of fabric from Willow Fabrics in the UK, and I think it cost me like $15. So the price was right. And I try to keep everything try to keep all of my hobbies as affordable as possible, because like quilting and cross stitch can be very expensive. So if you are thinking about joining us, you still have plenty of time to get that first chart. I hope you will. It's a forever kind of sal, so even though it's starting January 1st, it will continue on forever. So if you come across it in 5 years and you want to join it, let us know you're stitching it and we will cheer you on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so the hashtag is BB Anniversaries 2020. And if you are, kind of what I'm thinking is on January 1st, I will post my first picture of my progress. And so even if you have a couple of stitches, please post your progress to Instagram and tag me in it, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. If you only do Facebook, you can also tag me there as well. You can post it to my my Pumpkin Hollow Quilting page, or you can tag me in it on Facebook. I would really appreciate it because I do want to see what you're working on, and I want to be able to, cheer you on to help keep you motivated to finish. So anyway, but yes, please on January 1st, post, even if it's just like a little snowflake. I would love it so much. That way I can kind of keep, with your progress, and you can also keep updated with my progress as well. So because I'm not really sure how long any of these videos are going to take to upload, I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be my first pause. You'll just see a page flip, and then we'll just continue on. So hang on. So this past week, I received some Stitchy kindness in the mail. April Roberts contacted me, and this is the card that she sent me. She contacted me and said that she wanted to make something for me and send it. And she made me this adorable scissor fob. I have just now started collecting scissor fobs. I have one other one, and that is a Halloween one. And so this one is a very cute Christmas one. I haven't put it on my scissors yet because I knew that if I started using it, I would forget to mention it in my video, and I did not want to forget. I use my seasonal stuff all year. So like my Halloween one, I'm still using it on my scissors. And so this one, I will put it on another pair of scissors that I use all the time because I have a great love of scissors and they need fobs. And I will use this all the time. I won't take it off even if it is summer. So thank you so much, April, for sending it to me. I appreciate it so much. You're so sweet. And I absolutely love my scissor fob. Thank you. And I don't know if you have an Etsy shop to sell them, but if you don't, you should, because they're fantastic. They're so well made, and I would buy tons of them. So thank you so much, April. And then I did purchase there's a few things that I purchased, but I can't show any of those yet. I could show this one though. So I know this is not cross stitch related, but this is a little booklet. It is done by Moda Fabrics. It is the Dessert Sampler Quilt. And it was not necessarily a block of the month, but it was one that was released. I don't know if it was, it must have been released weekly, and it was sort of like a blog hop. And then when it was all done, then they took the patterns down, and then they put them in a book. And so here is what the quilt looks like. And my friend Retha and I are going to be making ours together, but first we have to finish some of the ones that we've already started. And so this one will be our reward for finishing some of those. So I will be in the process of collecting fabrics and using some out of my stash to put it together. It is a real, I mean, I've seen it on the internet. It's a beautiful quilt. I am so excited. Very challenging, which I like. And I cannot wait to start this at some point next year. That is our goal, is to start this at some point next year. And then I also purchased from Kathy Barrick Sunflower Farm. I remember when this one came out as a club piece. I don't remember what club it was in, but I fell in love with it. It is just so awesome. And when I saw that she was releasing it, I jumped on that day and I purchased it from her. And it's such a cute chart, and I can't wait to stitch it up and have it. And it'll probably go on my sampler wall too, because I think it'll be perfect for it. So super excited. And that was it. I've been very, very good. There are a few things that I can't show yet, but I will show them after Christmas is over. And yeah, but I've been very good. I have not purchased anything. I've been very diligently trying to stitch what I have, and so far so good. But I know that when market rolls around in March, I probably will be buying all the things. But that's good. Maybe by then I will have some of my stuff finished. So anyway, I'm going to pause again here, and then I'm going to talk about my progress and plans. So, even though I have been busy quilting on client quilts, I still have been keeping up with my cross stitch, because I do stitch in the evenings, and I usually get about an hour and a half to 2 hours to 3 hours, just kind of depending on what's going on a night. And so I have made pretty decent progress, and I'm very, very happy. I started Merry Christmas by Country Cottage Needleworks. And you'll have to forgive me, I went ahead and left it in the Q snap because I forgot that I pulled all of my stuff out to show in my video, and I had put my iron away, because normally my ironing table is right here. And I went and I put it away before I had popped these out of their Q snaps, and to show them in my video. So this one I went ahead and left in. I'm gonna finish the R, and then I'm gonna take it out and readjust it. I started this one on Saturday. My friends and I got together and we had a sewing day, and so I started this, and I made very good progress on it. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Vintage Country Belfast that I had in my stash, and I'm stitching it with all of the called for DMC threads. My needle minder here came from Mad for Minders on Etsy, and it is Clark Griswold when he's peeking through the tree at the squirrel. And it cracks me up because we're huge Christmas Vacation fans. Anyway, so hopefully, my hope is that I will get this one finished very soon, because I'm going to fully finish it, and then I'm going to stick it on the top of our tree that's out in the living room. And then I continued on with Thanksgiving Comes Again by the Prairie Schooler. You'll have to forgive the wrinkles. Here is my progress so far. I'm stitching this on a piece of 30 count linen that I tea coffee dyed myself. I think the linen I picked up at Hobby Lobby and brought it home and dunked it in the tea and coffee dye. I barely have enough room to attach it to the Q snap, which is why I haven't brought this border down yet, because I think the Q snap is right here, and right here. So I'll have to put it in a hoop and finish around the sides. So I think in my last video, I was just to the roof and I've finished the house. There's some cute pumpkins here. There's supposed to be a tree right here, and I've started working on the turkey, and there's a barn right here. I think there's like some geese, and then once I finish all that, I can bring down the borders and then I'll be done. I'm stitching this with all of the called for DMC, and I am loving it. And I will be glad and sad when this one's done, because I always enjoy stitching on Prairie Schoolers. But I will be glad to have it done. My hope is that I will be able to find some sort of a pedestal that goes up a little ways, and that I can kind of mount it, Priscillify it, and that way it will sit up high, and then I can put things around it next year. So that's going to be something that I'll be looking for. It usually comes out, like Michael's will have it out in their spring decor. They usually have like they're supposed to look like wrought iron, and I'm hoping that they will have some out this coming year, and I will get one for that. And then maybe possibly when I do some of the other ones, I'll finish it that way too. So we'll see. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to start back on Queen of Freedom by Mirabilia, and I have. And again, you'll have to excuse the wrinkles. I've had it in my scroll frame, and so in my last video, I hadn't started stitching back on her yet, but I was going to that evening, and so right here was the line, and so I have stitched all of this here. This is all new, and I am having the best time stitching her. I cannot wait to have her done, and I will continue on with her until she is finished. I have not done any of the outlining yet or any of the beading. I will do that when I have finished all of the regular stitching, but she is looking fantastic. I just love her so much. And when I finish her, I'm pretty positive I already have a frame. And I think that she is going to fit in it perfectly. It used to hang in this room and had a picture of Allison and Ethan when they were little. We did like an old-timey picture of them. And when we'd picked up the photo and we went to Michael's and we left the photo in the car, and it was hot that day and the photo kind of warped. So we had it in the frame for, I don't know, like a year or two, and then we finally took it down because the photo was really you could really tell that it was warped, and the kids were much older, and so I took it down, and I thought, well, when I finish Queen of Freedom, I think she'll be perfect in that frame because it's just the right kind of color for her, and it's also the right kind of color for this room. So when she's done, she'll hang in this room on that wall where this thing is. There's like a little mirror and it's a spinny thing. She's gonna hang right there when she's done. So really, really, really hoping to have her finished this coming year, not this year. But in 2020, I'm hoping to have a finish. So fingers crossed. So I had one finish last week, and I think in my last video I was working on this. This is Santa Sampler by Country Cottage Needleworks. And so before I show it to you, it's in the process of being fully finished. I started it yesterday afternoon after I'd finished quilting, and I thought I was going to be able to get it done, but I had banjo lessons last night. Yes, you heard me right. I had banjo lessons, and I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, so I thought I was going to be able to get it done and have it fully finished to show you in this video, but it didn't happen. And by the time I got back last night, it was late. My lessons are like at 7:30 at night, and so by the time I got home, it was already like 8:30, and So it's in the process. So right now, it is just on the 2 pieces of mat board. So I've been practicing my lacing, and so I laced it, And then I attached it to so it's laced to a piece of mat board, and then I attached it to two other pieces of mat board with some fabric that is out of my stash. And then sometime today, I will go ahead and fully finish it. Well, complete it, really. So I stitched mine on a piece of 32 count Vintage Country Lugana that I had in my stash with all of the called for DMC threads. So here it is right here. And I'm going to show you the Santa that I will attach the sampler to. And you'll have to forgive his appearance because I stripped him. He was looking pretty sad, and I had to strip him of everything yesterday. And then today I will go and fix him up. So this is what he looks like. And so my plan is to take and put him like this. So he will be holding the sampler, and then I will put, originally he had like some greenery here that had fallen off. And so I will probably, I'm not sure if I will put a little bit of greenery here or just leave it, but he also had some greenery here. And so I know that I will replace it. And then, I don't know, I'm kind of debating about moving it up a little bit and then putting some greenery down here. And so that's something that I have to decide between now and later on this afternoon. His mustache was falling off, so I had to reattach it. And originally he had a Christmas tree that was here that said welcome on it. And so I popped it off, and I will save it and use it for something else down the road. So this is what he looks like. I know it's not really that glamorous, and honestly he was looking pretty sad because I've had him for many, many years, and I just didn't have the heart to throw him away. And so I'm hoping that I will be able to fix him up and make him look really grand and then attach this. So fingers crossed. That is my plan for later. But that is the only finish that I've had over the past 2 weeks. It's just been all progress. The only thing that in my last video, I had showed you the progress that I was doing on Tempting Tangles, Words of Enlightenment. Over the past 2 weeks, I have not stitched on it at all because I used the morning to finish Santa Sampler, and then I've also been using the morning to stitch on Merry Christmas, so I can kind of get that done between now and Christmas. I'm not sure if I will have enough time to do anything more for Christmas between now and then, because I did kind of want to make an ornament. But we'll see when I finish Merry Christmas how many days are left before Christmas. Otherwise, I might begin working on things for next year. So we'll see. Anyway, let's move on to the giveaway portion of the video, and then I will do the home tour. And then after the home tour, I will come back on and we'll just chat a little bit, and then I will send you on your way. So in my last video, let me pull all of the giveaway stuff. So this project back here went unclaimed for many, many weeks. When I went back and looked at my videos, it was back in, I think it was video number 20 or 21 that I gave this project bag away in. And the winner never claimed it. And so I went into that video and I re-pulled a new winner. So hopefully that person will see that she's won. I will do my best to go in and comment on her comment, but the winner is Annette Snyder. So Annette, if you could contact me via email, pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, and send me your address, I will get this in the mail to you next week. Now, in my last video, I had 2 fresh new giveaways. The first one was Hello Spring by Plum Street Sampler, and the winner of that is Kim Patterson. And I had a second giveaway, which was these 3 early Americans, and the winner of these is Debbie Foster. So if Kim and Debbie can get a hold of me, via email, pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com, and send me your address, I will get your prizes out in the mail to you this coming week. And thank you so much for playing. Also, the winner of Glitter Village contacted me, and I have not had a chance to get hers out in the mail to her yet, but I promise I will tomorrow. And thank you so much for getting a hold of me. It was kind of as I suspected. It's a busy time of the year, and so you're not able to watch a lot of Flosstube. I know that I am guilty of that as well. I've only been able to catch like snippets here and there of Flosstube, so I have a lot of videos I have to get back to. It's a busy time of the year, so I understand that it takes a little bit longer for you guys to watch the video because I'm the same way. So, however, this video would not be complete if I also did not offer up a giveaway. Hang on a second. Oh, the other one is right here. Okay, so the two giveaways for this week are charts. And the first chart is Cricket Collection Skeleton Crew. So you guys, if you've been following me, you watched my progress on this. I think I started it at the end of summer and I finished it a few episodes ago. And so I am offering it up a giveaway. So it's been lightly used by me. So if you are interested in the Skeleton Crew by the Cricket Collection, this is number 1. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing it in order. Yes, yes. And number 2 is Santa Sampler by Country Cottage Needleworks. Again, this has been used by me, lightly used, still in great condition. So if you are interested in Santa Sampler, it is number 2. Now, the question to be entered to win either one of those is, and so I know a lot of people will say, what is your unicorn chart? A lot of people have unicorn charts, but what I'm more interested in is what is your top 3 wish list charts? Mine is Mirabilia's The Baker's Wife, 272 words Gettysburg Address by Primrose Needleworks, and my number 3 is Lila Studios With Thy Needle Too. I had to write them all down because there's no way I'm going to remember all of those because I know them in my mind, but I've given them like nicknames. Like 272 words is just Gettysburg Address, and like instead of saying in my mind With Thy Needle Too, it's that cool chart from Lila's Studio, and the other one is The Baker's Wife. And so if I just said The Baker's Wife, the cool one from Lila's Studio, and the Gettysburg Address, nobody'd know what I was talking about. So anyway, those are my top 3 wish list charts. So now I want to know, what are your top 3 wish list charts? Current wish list, not unicorns. I just want to know wish list charts. Answer them or tell me those in the comment section below. You must be a subscriber. You must like the video. And I think that's it. I think it's just those 2 things. Be a subscriber, like the video, leave your comments below with your top 3 wish list charts, and I will pick a winner in my next, I will announce a winner in my next video. And remember, you can say you either want number 1, Skeleton Crew, number 2, Santa Sampler, or you can say both. And thank you so much for playing. And also thank you so much for subscribing, because over the past 2 weeks, I hit 3,500 subscribers, and that is amazing. And so I thank you all so much for subscribing, for coming back every 2 weeks to see what I'm up to, for following me across social media. I just really appreciate it so much. You guys are the best. And so I hope that you will continue to stay tuned to this channel to see what I will be up to next year, because I'm very excited. So anyway, so now I am going to go ahead and do the home tour. Hopefully the lighting will cooperate, because it does fluctuate in and out today as the storms are moving through. But I hope you will stay tuned. If you are not interested in the home tour, this is a great stopping point where you can get off here and go to the next Flosstube video. I will be back in 2 weeks, right before the new year. So if you are leaving now, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great one. However, if you are going to stay for the home tour, let's go. I figured since you have been seeing the tree decorated up behind me during my video, that was a good place to start. This Christmas tree was one of the very first ones that I bought on a Michael's Black Friday sale. I think I got it for $10. It is pre-lit with all of the sort of pastel Christmas lights, which makes it perfect for vintage ornaments. The quilt on the chair was made by my grandma. It is hand embroidered 12 Days of Christmas. I also made a hand embroidered 12 Days of Christmas, but I ended up giving that quilt to my sister-in-law for Christmas one year. The angel that is on top of the tree normally is lit up, but I forgot that she actually needs to go on the tree first because she has a cord that snakes down through the tree and is supposed to be plugged into the extension cord. But by the time I dug her out of the box, the tree was already decorated, and it's just way too hard to try to feed the cord down. All of the ornaments that you see are glass, and I was afraid that I'd break them. They're all vintage, and they used to hang on my grandparents' tree. The angel was also, for all of my growing up years, was on my grandparents' tree. They bought it for their first Christmas together. And so a lot of the ornaments also were bought their first Christmas together. I think my grandma said it was 1956. And so these ornaments are all wonderfully vintage. I love them. I have she gave me all of them. And so these are only a part of the vintage ornaments, and I switch them out every year. So there are never the same ornaments on the tree each year. She also made and I don't know what they're called, but I know you can buy them at Hirschner's still. They're made with sequins and you decorate it. And so she had a big group of those that she gave me as well, and I've split them up. Some of them hang on the Christmas tree. There are some patriotic ones that I hang on my summer trees. There's some Halloween ones that she made, and so I have a variety of them that I've split up for the different trees that I put up throughout the year. The lamp, that was also from my grandma. She went to like a ceramics class many years ago. I mean, this lamp, I grew up with this lamp always being next to her sewing chair. And she said that she went to a ceramic place, she painted it and assembled the lamp. And when she moved, she didn't have any place for it, so she gave it to me. It does need to be touched up a little bit this coming year. It is starting to show some wear and tear, and she told me that all I need to do is just clean it off and paint it, and she's painted it many times. And so during the holiday seasons, I fill it full of fake greenery, fake flowers and that kind of stuff, and I enjoy decorating it. I think it looks very festive. And then before I show you the quilts, I just want to come over here and show you this mini quilt, which was hanging behind me in my video. This is a Crabapple Hill Studio pattern. Off the top of my head, I do not know what the name of it is. I don't know if it was called Winter Skate or Christmas Skate. I know it came out maybe 5 years ago. But it is one that is, you color it with crayons, and then you heat set it, and then you stitch it. Let me see if I can get in. The lighting behind me is very gray again today. And by the way, I'm filming this the day after my video, and that is why the number, instead of it being 13 days of Christmas, it's 12 today, so. But I hand embroidered it using a satin stitch. And it is stitched with Krynic, DMC, and there's some beads on there. And I think I added the beads. I think they were supposed to be French knots, and I decided to go with the beads. There's also some heat set crystals that I've put on in some of the places just to give it a little bit of flair. The pillow that is in the chair was made by my best friend Retha. She gave it to me for Christmas a few years back. I believe it is a Lori Holt pattern. And I want to say that it was in a calendar that you could buy a few years back. I'm not sure if you can get it as a standalone pattern or if it was just exclusively for that calendar. The quilts that you see here are ones that I did. They were a Christmas apart from each other. And the top one is I believe the name of the pattern is A Toll Christmas. It's a freebie pattern, and I will do my best to link it down below. It is a really fast quilt to put together. You use a jelly roll, and I think that the jelly roll that I used was a Kate Spade fabric line. It's not available anymore. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I do know that the quilt went together super fast. The second quilt that you see here was a quilt that I did in a class at Sweet Treasures maybe 3 years ago. I think it was done with the Fab 5 ruler, and I'm not sure. I know that I have the pattern for it, but I don't remember if it was something that Sweet Treasures put out or if it was a book, like a standalone book. I don't remember, but I will make sure to link that down below as well. And then the quilt where you can just barely see the top of the tree came out of a book by Sherry Falls, and I think it was Winter Wonderland. And again, I will make sure to put that down below as well. If I'm wrong, I will put the correct one down below. I made a bunch of quilts out of that book that particular Christmas, and it was a lot of fun. Now we are in the living room where the main quilt hangs on the wall. This was also, I'm pretty positive, out of the Winter Wonderland book by Sherry Falls. It was a stitch along, and this is the sampler quilt out of it. And if I'm wrong, I will make sure to put the correct information down below, because it's been quite a few years since I finished this quilt, and I don't really remember the particulars on it, and I should have, before I filmed the home tour, I should have gathered up that information, but I forgot. So I will make sure to put the information on what the name of this quilt is and the correct book that it comes out of. But I do know it was a sampler quilt. I remember it was a stitch along that was done on Instagram a number of years ago, and it was a lot of fun. I did it with fabric that was out of my stash. That was part of several different fabric lines that I just kind of threw all together. The Christmas tree that is next to the quilt is the pencil tree that I bought last year. It does have my grandparents' snowflake ornaments that hung on their first tree. And I just decorate it with the red, white, and silver Christmas balls, as well as the snowflakes. On this scale is a Christmas tree. It was I don't remember what it was called, but you cut out the shapes and then you sewed them together and you stuffed it and then you sewed those together and it made the shape of the Christmas tree. And I did it quite a few years ago. I had to pause the video for a second because Allison texted me letting me know that she is on her way home. I'm so excited. She is done with her first semester at college and she will be home for the next month, and I am just so happy to have her home. Okay, so this cross stitch here is a Lizzie Kate chart. You can get it from 123 Stitch. She released it last fall, and I snapped it up really quickly because I have been trying really hard to work on more seasonal cross stitch pieces for around the home. And this one, it went super fast and it was a lot of fun, and I just fully finished it. I'm not super happy with how I finished it, and I probably, after Christmas is done this year, I think I am going to redo it And I have not decided what exactly that I'm going to do. I just know that I don't like how it looks now, and I will be changing it. I stitched it with all DMC threads, and I do not remember the linen. It looks like it might be a natural linen, and it's probably 32 count. So panning down, that is a Thomas Kinkade Christmas tree that I got one year for my birthday. And it is lit from within, so all of the lights on the houses and the street lamps all light up, and it's a lot of fun to have out every year. The Christmas tree that is next to it is one that I picked up from Michael's this year, and I was able to use a 60% off coupon plus another 20% off, and I think it cost me $7. And I am just going to pan down really fast. So the tree skirt that you see on the bottom of the tree was also my grandma's, and she gave it to me last year. It was also one that I can remember as a child, them having underneath their Christmas tree every year. And when she moved, she just didn't need it anymore, so she passed it along to me. The little mini quilt that you see next was made by my best friend Retha. She gave it to me. We do an exchange of 25 days of Christmas, and we collect 25 small things to exchange or make, and that is what she gave me for the first day of Christmas. This here is my Santa tree. I started decorating it with Santas last year, and it just works out perfectly, just the right amount, and I love it. It's very cute. It's very fun. Very festive. This room stays very like reds and greens and Santas, and the other room I'm trying to transition over into more of like the vintage Christmas. So this is like the rustic Santa out here, and the room out there, I'm working on turning it into a rustic Christmas. This is Hello Winter by Plum Street Samplers. It's in the little box that I found up in the attic, and I painted, and now I fill with all of the seasonal foliage and put the different season stitches on the front. I'm going to pan down really fast. So this is a little mini quilt that I made. It's a Christmas tree. I believe it came out of the Winter Wonderland book by Sherry Falls. Like I said, I did a whole bunch of quilts out of that book when it first came out. So this is the main Christmas tree. It is looking a little sad this year. It actually needed to be replaced a couple of years ago, and I meant to replace it this year and just dragged my feet about it. This Christmas tree was also my grandparents' Christmas tree. I believe they got it when I was a senior in high school. And when my grandpa passed away, my grandma, it was too big for her. She wanted to downsize, and so she gave it to me. And so it is hung in our house for many years, or sat in our house for many years. And now it is starting to kind of fall apart and show its age, and the branches don't fluff up like they used to. But my plan is the Merry Christmas by Country Cottage Needleworks will go at the top right up there when it is done. The Santa was also my grandpa's. It is not plugged in, but it sings Have a Holly Jolly Christmas by Randy Travis. And I do not plug it in because if I did, my son would play it all day long. And of course, there's a pumpkin right there. That one stays out all year round because it is a wax burner. That Santa that's next, it's right over there, I picked up at Big Lots when Allison was a baby. So this is another corner of my living room. I feel it's a little bit on the naked side. I usually have like some greenery that's right up here, and the greenery that I normally have up there, I think it fell apart finally, and so I need to redo it, and I just haven't had time to do it yet. So this is just a little shelf that holds some of our Christmas decorations. It's got a couple of Jim Shore Santas, or one Jim Shore Santa, and then the Mary and Joseph I got for my birthday is also a Jim Shore. The Christmas house that you see up here, I actually got it at the Dollar Tree many years ago. And you got the Mary and Joseph. They were my mother-in-law's. I think they're Lenox crystal. And then a church that I picked up somewhere along the way. I remember it wasn't very much, but I love it. And then the quilt. So when I first joined Instagram and found Lori Hull, who is Bee in My Bonnet, she did a lot of stitch-alongs. She had a book that came out. It was Quilty Fun. And as long as you had the Quilty Fun book, you could make this quilt. And so some of the blocks came out of that book, and then she designed stuff, or designed blocks to go along with the stitch along. And it was called Have Yourself a Quilty Little Christmas. The chart has been, she has released all of the patterns in I know you can get it as a PDF chart from the Fat Quarter Shop. But at the time that I made this quilt, it was free, except for you had to purchase the book to do some of the blocks. And it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I'd participated in a stitch along. That was on Instagram. And I also met a lot of great quilty friends who participated in it, and I'm still friends with them. So it was a lot of fun. And then I'm just going to come over here and show you these two stockings. So my grandma cross-stitched these for my kids when they were born. She made all of the grandkids stockings and then all of the great-grandkids stockings. And these were the last two cross-stitch ones that she did. She did Allison's first, and then she stopped doing cross-stitch after that. And when Ethan was born, she went ahead and she cross-stitched one for him because she had done one for Allison, and Ethan's was the very last piece of cross-stitch that she did before she transitioned over to hand embroidery. So I'm very happy that the kids will have these for the rest of their life. Now she does all of the stockings after Ethan were hand embroidered, and I think there's a couple of great grandkids that come between Ethan and Allison, and they have hand embroidered. But because Allison's was cross stitch, my grandma wanted to make sure that Ethan's was done with cross stitch as well. I'm going to try my best to stay out of the light that is coming in through the window now. This little corner of the room is where the three-tiered tray sits. This year it is decorated with some of the Christmas Village houses that I purchased from the Dollar Tree many years ago. They used to have some really cool stuff when Allison was really little and when I was first beginning to gather up Christmas decorations, and I don't think that you can get these houses anymore. But I have a whole bunch of them, a whole village, but I don't have any place to put them out, so I separate them and put them in different corners of the house. And of course, you might recognize the Santa sampler. I showed it earlier on in the video yesterday. He is now fully finished. I had a heck of a time with the bow, but I think that overall, he turned out pretty darn cool. One thing I did learn was that the Santa himself is actually not straight on the pedestal. So that took a few sweaty moments of angst when I discovered that my fully finished was going to be a little bit wonky, but I think it turned out pretty well and I like it. The table runner that you see, I made it a few years ago. It was a kit that I bought from Fabric Depot. I don't remember what the name of it is. I don't think you can even still, get this particular pattern because it came in the kit, and I think it was something Maywood Studios did. Perhaps you could go on their website and do a search of their free patterns, and maybe it would still be there. But it was quite a while ago because I bought the kit, and then the table runner sat finished. It just needed to be quilted for probably 10 years, and I just finished it last year. So, and of course there's Alexa, who is always listening. Down below, That is a paper piece Christmas tree. There was a snow day, 6 years ago, and my friend Retha and I decided to have a little sewing day, even though we couldn't be together, and we decided to work on this one together. And I think it turned out pretty great. It was a freebie as far as I know. And if I can remember what the name of the pattern is, I will also link that down below. And I just used pieces out of my stash from the other quilts that I had completed prior to this one. So very cute. Okay guys, so you might have remembered that earlier on I said that I have been taking banjo lessons, and here is my banjo. My husband and my kids gave it to me for my birthday this past year. And my husband knew, I always joke that I, someday wanted to learn how to play the banjo. I think I even, as a giveaway question earlier on, I had asked if you could learn another hobby, what would it be? And I said I would learn to play the banjo. So the husband, he bought me one for my birthday. And I've had 4 lessons now. And it's not, my husband says I'm doing really good as far as I have chords I have to practice, but I don't know. Of course, to me, I just sound like I'm plunking along, but my instructor's teaching me how to play Cripple Creek. And my husband says he can, when he hears me play, he can hear some of the lyrics. He's starting to hear it. And so hopefully I will soon be able to get my left hand and my right hand to play together. It's a struggle trying to get them both to play at the same time, but I'm determined to learn to play a song. It's been a lot of fun, and I really hope that I'm able to pick it up, and because I would love to be able to play. The banjo just sounds like a happy instrument. It really does, and it always brings a smile to my face whenever I hear banjo music. So anyway, but this is my banjo. This is the last little area of the home tour that I'm going to show you. Everything else I will take pictures of and insert them, because where they are at, the light is really not the best. It either washes it out or you can barely see it. So this is a wreath that I made last year. Inside is a Prairie Schooler, I think it's called Santa's House, and I stitched it last year. And then just next to it is the Winter, it might just be Winter by the Prairie Schooler. I know that I showed it in my first video, I think, and I have it hanging up here now. I think I'm going to put a little bit of greenery on top of it, but that's something that I will. I'm a little bit disorganized as far as my decorating goes this year. And so I've just been doing, I've got the house decorated, but there are areas that still need some work. And I will, at some point, probably next week, I will be adding more things to those areas. But right now, I thought I would go ahead and just show the house as it is. And hopefully next year I will get my act together a little bit more and because there's a lot of decorations that are missing. And it could be that something happened to them and they broke and they need to be repaired, or they need to be deconstructed and remade new again. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera back around. So I hope you guys enjoyed my home tour. There's a couple of things that are missing that are gonna show up here in the next couple of days. But there was no way, by the time my next video comes out, it's gonna be after Christmas, and chances are by the time I do my next video, everything will be taken down anyway. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. My house is very small, so I do have to be careful in how I style it, because it can get very cluttered very fast. And I'm kind of a simple girl, so I like simple things. And so I hope you enjoyed it. my next video, so I've been kind of thinking about it a little bit, and I think what I'm going to do, and I know a lot of people will do this as well, is go over the whips that I have in the Mocking basket of whips, because when I started out 2019, I had 3 outstanding whips, and that was it. Now I have quite a bit more. So I am going to show those whips. There's one of them that I have that I've decided I'm taking out of the rotation. I'm not going to continue on with it, at least not at this point. And I will talk a little bit about why. So I will show you all of those, and I will talk about my plans for 2020 because they have changed a lot. I've been doing a lot of thinking about what I have, even in my quilting, what I have that is not finished. And for the most part, I was a monogamous stitcher before I started doing Flosstube, and I am going to still continue with my rotation, the 3 whips that I do. I'm not going to change that in 2020. That seems to work very well for me. So in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my plans. And again, talk about the Anniversaries of the Heart, because that will be kicked off a few days after that video comes out. And I'm really excited for what next year will bring. I have a lot of things that I do want to stitch, and I'm going to do a little bit better about sticking with what I want to stitch instead of things that that come up that sort of take me away from the things that I want to stitch. So, but I'll talk about that all in my next video, and show the progress that I have on these guys here that I showed you today, and all the things. So, also project bags. They've been a little bit slow to go into the shop because I have been doing quilting, but now that I am down to my last quilt, I will be adding those back into my shop again. I have a bunch cut, and they just have to be assembled. So stay tuned for those, because there's been a lot of people that's been asking. I'm probably winding down on the seasonal ones, and so I will be adding more like spring and flowery ones and things like that for next year. So anyway, well guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave you now, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. You can always see what I am up to on Instagram. I am Pumpkin Hollow Quilts on there, or you can follow my Facebook page, Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. And I will put the links below to all of those as well. I do have a blog, but it's been very neglected. And I always tell myself that next year I'm going to be better about posting on my blog, and then I don't. So who knows, maybe 2020 will be the year that I get my act together and I post more stuff on my blog. Who knows? So I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate that, or Happy Hanukkah. And I hope you have a great couple of weeks. And yeah, I'll leave you now. Bye guys.